The therapist
Yes.
is really good at interacting with her because I think she is able to see it in a different perspective, the way that the therapist is like explaining it to her without making her feel like an idiot.
Because she also was never like, you need to get out, or I'm calling authorities, or I'm it had to quit, but like it had to be her decision.
Yeah.
But she did ask her questions like, Celeste was really good at, like I said, making excuses for it, or like playing it off as not that bad, whatever. So I feel like the therapist really asked her a lot of questions to make her see that, like, no, this is that bad. It is still abusive.
It still counts.
This is not whatever. And like asking her, have you ever felt like he would actually kill you if you ever gone that far? And at first she's like, no. And she's like, well, there's one time. Blah, blah, blah. And so then the therapist is like,
okay, it happened once.
And so she kind of just goes into like, okay, well, like you need a plan for whenever, like you don't have to put it in motion, but like you have a plan because you need to take away the part that's like saying like, oh, well, what would I do right now? Where would I go? How would I take care of the kids? Like all the things.
Yeah. She also mentioned like the first time it happened, she told him like if it happens again, I'm leaving. And then it happened again. And then something happened, like life happened, and then it seemed, she said it seemed too late to make a dramatic exit. Like it was over by then.
Yeah.
And then another time that it happened, like they were in the middle, they were somewhere. And so it didn't make sense for her to leave and while they were somewhere. We're like on vacation or some like event or something.
Yeah, I think at one point they were at a family wedding thing or something too. And so yeah, and so all the excuses is like why she had left. And so they end up coming up with this plan, and she's like, you need to rent an apartment. So she does, and she's like, you need to like stock it. Like get this for the boys. Put food in the fridge. And that way, like if you're ever ready, like you can literally just leave and go there. Whatever. So it takes that out of it.
Yeah.
Of having to like tell people or find somewhere to go right away. Or things. And then she like told her to start documenting everything. She was like, it's guys like him will try to go after custody, and then the whole time you've been saying he's such a great husband, and so like you need to start writing it down, taking photos, like all the things. And so yeah, she ends up starting to like do all those things. Obviously, the abuse is still continuing, and she hasn't left him yet, but
she's starting to make steps towards
starting to accept that like he's actually abusive and all the things.
I think it's also like really sad because she's also like saying, well, obviously the whole thing is, but she's also saying like this is just one part of him. Like he has other sides of him.
Yeah, and like she does talk about like
he's a really good father. He takes them places. Like he's attentive. And
it's like only during those like bad times because then he feels so guilty.
Treats her even.
Yeah, she said like she even has the power back.
Like it's a give and take.
Yeah. And then she said, but then like once the bruises like fade and stuff, then he feels less guilty. So then he has the power back, and then he hits her again, and then like the same thing over. Yeah. So all that's happening. While that's happening, Madeline, her lovely self, can't help but be involved. She had promised Jane like she would look into stacks and banks.
Yeah.
But of course, she can't have it.
Yeah.
And
she's like, I gotta know.
She ends up like Googling him. I think she found like one guy. Oh yeah, so she found the guy, and she's like shocked because he's like an investment banker or something. Yeah. He's got a wife and daughters and all this stuff. And she's just like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe this, but like it's such an odd name, so like what else could it be? And because she then feels guilty about Googling, she ends up telling Celeste.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, so I Googled him.
This is
crazy. And that was the thing, is she, even though Jane told Celeste about like the night and what had happened, she only had told Madeline the name. And so Madeline ends up telling Celeste, and Celeste like kind of instantly freaked out because she recognizes the name.
Mm-hmm.
And
small world.
Yeah, it was really crazy.
Mm-hmm.
She was like, Harry, her husband, has a cousin who he like grew up with. I think we're kind of more like brothers than anything. Whose name is Saxon Face.
Interesting.
And again, like weird name. Like what are the odds? Yeah. And she was like, well, but she's like, yeah, like
I know who that is.
And so then Celeste is really freaking out because nobody knows about the abuse of Perry, but then she's like thinking
it's hereditary,
like it's in their family, and so her cousin did this, or his cousin did this awful thing to Jane, and then she starts blaming herself for that.
Celeste blames herself for Jane?
I think just because like, yeah, because she's like doesn't say anything about it or whatever. Like they're out there just like pretty cool. I think it's just like a guilt of knowing and not like having
speaking out about
so that's all wild. So she's like, great, now I have this too. So I guess that's kind of where and that's kind of how everything escalates. At that point, Jane is like at her wit's end with this whole thing with Renata. Everything is going on with the petition and the thing and being isolated. She's like, I think I might need to like leave. And so she ends up talking to Ziggy, and they're at Blue Blues and whatever, doing whatever. She starts talking to Ziggy, and she realizes that like nobody has ever asked him like if he saw it.
Yeah,
like it's only been like, did you do it? And he's been saying no. Him and Amabella are like actually friends.
Yeah,
and like the kids that he's close with in class are like all say that he's like the sweetest kid. So Jane kind of realizes this, and she's like, "Have you seen somebody hurting? No, like, do you know who it is? If you didn't do it, you know." And he is like, "I promised her I wouldn't say anything."
Yeah,
because she'll like die dead. Yeah. So Jane realizes like he knows, but he's like, I'm not telling because she's my friend, and like I promised her, and I'm her to die dead. And she's like, what if you wrote it down? Yeah. Then you're not telling me. Yeah. And so he's like, genius. Basically, he's like, such a great idea, Mom. Where's my prayer list? Yeah. Okay. So in betwixt that happening, he has a run with. So she's like waiting, trying to get him to like write down. She's like, "Here's the paper. Here's the thing. Like, please tell me who it is." While he's like doing that, Renata and her husband come into Blue Blues. Oh yeah, and like make a beeline for Jane. So something we did not talk about was, Jane and Renata had another little like kerfuffle on the playground or whatever. Oh yeah. Jane went to go like help out with like all the parents. I think they have like a volunteer hour. Yeah, and they help the kids like with the reading. Like the kid reads to them. Yeah, and one of them, while she was volunteering, she was assigned to Amabella. That was very awkward. They're like the oversight again by the teacher. Like you are fully aware of the situation that's going on. That's what. So your buddy is gonna be the person that said bullying you's mother. Yeah. Very awkward. So Amabella is a gifted child. So she's already reading. She can I don't know, do math. She's kind of advanced. Yeah.
So she's really good at doing whatever. And she's reading the page and everything, and then Jane starts asking like questions, and it's like, oh wow, you read really well. She's like, yeah, I read pretty good. And so she said, instead of like critiquing her and like giving her pointers on how to read, she started asking like questions about the book instead, for like help critical thinking. And after the read, he's like, hey, do you know who like hurt you? You know, or
like, are you sure?
Are you sure? Do you know who it was? You can tell me. You know, and it was like, and then she got painfully like shy and red, and she was like very quiet, and she was having a hard time because she's like, I know she knows something, but she's not telling anybody,
Yeah.
and she's like,
well, obviously she knows it's hurting her.
Yeah,
it's like
she's not saying anything, and she's like having a hard time because she's the one that's kids being pointed out, singled out about it.
Yeah,
and she starts thinking like, why doesn't her mother just get it out of her? She's only 5 years old. She can just say, you know, all these things. And so she's like getting more and more frustrated. And then lo and behold, was it the mom? Yeah, the mom ended up showing up, Renata, to the school for our because they have a lot of stuff. Oh, the oranges? Yeah, she was bringing oranges. And she saw Jane in the next to the sandbar, whatever, with Amabella, and she spots that she's there with her, and she makes a beeline to them.
Because Amabella's like, I don't know if she was crying but she was like visibly upset.
Yeah,
obviously.
And she's like, "What are you doing with my daughter? You shouldn't be with her." Blah blah blah. And she starts like getting into it with Jane, and then at some point Jane like kicks the sand in her direction, and she's like, "You're you kicked me." And she makes a big old scene about it. It's like, oh my god.
So that happened. That was all escalated. Of course, Jane immediately like felt bad.
Yeah. Kicked sand.
Yeah, and I shouldn't have been like questioning her. But she's also, you know, just like yeah. And so anyway, back to the day that she's like trying to get this out of Ziggy, and they come into Blue Blues, and so the husband Jeff like comes right over to her and is like, I'm gonna burn down the wall on you.
Yeah.
Whatever.
The full extent of the law. I work for a lawyer. Yeah. I work for an attorney, blah blah blah. And he's like, don't ever come and assault my wife or talk to my daughter ever again. You're gonna blah 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 blah. And Jane's like,
you're like literally harassing me right now.
Yeah, and it's like, obviously you're trying to intimidate me. He's like leaning over and like yelling at her face. And Tom is like, owns the little cafe, obviously, and he comes up and he's like, you need to leave.
Yeah.
And he's like, you don't want to get in the middle of this. And then he's like, what does he say? You don't want to get in the middle of this. I'm a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you can speak about this later. He's like,
however, he says, he's like, you need to go. Like, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And Renata instantly is like, no, please, because this is like the spot.
Yeah. And they don't want to, she doesn't want to get like kicked out.
Yeah. But he's like, no, you need to go. Like, maybe I'll see you guys later. Like, telling them, like, no. Just leave now. Mm-hmm. Like, and this can be over, or like,
we're going to have a problem.
Yeah. So they do end up leaving, but
we made a whole scene.
Yeah. It was a whole ordeal. But, so he like helps her out basically, like, kind of saves the day. It's like, sure. And then, so she finally gets back to Ziggy, and she's like, you know, did you write it? Like, oh, yeah, here you go. Wrote it down. Mm-hmm. And it says like MAKS or something like that. And she's like, what the heck is this? Like,
that's kindergarten.
Yeah. Like, that's not right. And so, but then she like, I guess, says it out loud kind of, and realizes that he was trying to spell Max. Mm-hmm. Which is one of Celeste's twins.
Yes.
Which, I mean, have you met his father?
It's in the blood.
Yeah. And so that was crazy. She's like, I don't know what to do because Celeste is friend, like, you know, like, this was hard on me, so, like, I don't want her to have to go through, like, this either, but at the same time, like, I can't be having this. And so she's, like, kind of going back and forth on whether or not just to go straight to the teacher or, like, to tell Celeste. And she ends up, like, making an appointment with the teacher. They're going to talk on Monday because then they have this trivia night thing. I think it's, like, Friday or something. So she ends up making the appointment, and then she was kind of like, maybe I'll try to, like, talk to her before I go.
Because it's the end of the week. They're going to do the trivia night, and then she has the appointment.
Right. And, so she ends up thinking to her parents, whatever, he's going to stay there so she can go have fun at the trivia night. Because it's like the adults only. It's supposed to be like a fundraiser type thing. And so she drops him off, and then that's whenever that thing happens. She goes to Blue Blues, like pouring rain. She's like, I really just like want a coffee, and I want to like see Tom and tell him like what's going on. So she like runs through the rain, and he's like, oh, like I can get you a shirt real quick, because he also lives like the back of it or top of it or something like that. And so they go to his like apartment, and she's like, ooh, I go to your apartment. And he gets her a shirt, and so she like changes whatever, and they're talking. She says something about being glad. Something about him being gay. And he's like, what? And she's like, I'm not gay.
He said, pause.
And she's like, what do you mean? Yeah, Madeline told me that like you just broke up with this other guy, whatever. And she was like, no, it's the other guy. She's like, wait a minute. So you're telling me like I told you all these like things and personal details I just like changed in front of you?
You're not gay?
So that was like funny, and then it was kind of funny too, because you can tell like that they kind of have a little thing for each other, but then it's this like moment of realization. She's like, oh god, like he's not like all the things that I and so
it's very awkward and funny.
Yeah, it's funny, but they're like cute, whatever.
Yeah.
And so yeah, he's like, I'm not gay. Also, I'm going to trivia night too. And she's like, oh, cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And I think that was kind of the end of that little section. So then everybody's getting ready for trivia night. Including
Perry. Well, he came home early from a work trip for a trivia night, right?
Yeah, I think so. And so they're like going to get ready for a trivia night. They're like doing whatever.
It was like, I can't remember what it was, but like Celeste and Perry were like, what's the girl's name? Elvis and Priscilla?
No, Audrey Hepburn.
She was Audrey?
That was the theme, was Elvis and Audrey. All the women were dressed up as Audrey Hepburn.
Oh, that's right.
And then
that's right, because he bought her like these very expensive pearls because he ended up hurting her again.
Yeah, and then and he likes to definitely put on the show like that they're the perfect family, and so he like got a legit like costume from like Europe or something. Like it was like crazy. She had like real pearls.
Yeah,
all the things.
Like they were from that era versus like just a costume from Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, and the most like recent time Perry had like hurt her pretty bad, and so she was like in bed. Oh, he like banged her head on the wall.
Yeah,
and so she, I'm pretty sure, had a concussion at some point, but she was like in bed for days and whatever. But then she's feeling better, and they're going to get ready for this trivia night. And while she's getting ready, her one son, like Josh, comes in and he's like upset about something, and basically ends up telling her like, I know who is hurting Bella, and like all the things, and she's like, what? Tell me what's going on. And he ends up telling her that his brother is the one. So she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, great.
My child? Not like that, but like, she's like,
but it was
my husband, now my son, and his cousin.
Yeah. it was a big moment too because she had like said repeatedly to the therapist like the kids never see it, like they're not affected. He doesn't hurt them, and they're not affected by it. Which clearly, if he's like choking and biting and like, and then telling the little girl like, "I'm gonna kill you," like she has this moment of like clarity. Oh shit! Like actually, this is really bad.
Yeah. And she also made a bunch of excuses of staying for the kids. Yeah. Now this gives her a reason to leave.
Yeah, because she was like, how can I leave him whenever he's such a good dad and like this doesn't affect them in any way? Where now it's like spurt. Yeah.
Here's a reason.
Yeah. So she's holding on to that. And they go to trivia next. She ends up talking to him like in the car, like as they pull up. And is like,
yeah, they're talking in the car on their way there, and he starts off the conversation with, "So you have an apartment?"
Oh, that's what happened. That's right.
Yeah,
she like had left her phone downstairs while she was getting ready, and it went off, and he answered it, and then he came upstairs, and he was like, "Who's on the phone?" or something like that, and he was like, "Oh, it was your building manager calling to say that they're like going to be doing some work over the next few days." But he acted all like it was completely normal. But obviously, she knew like instantly, like
yeah. Oh, now he knows
to go down.
Yeah.
So then they get in the car, and they start talking, and he's like, "Yeah."
So he's like, "So you have an apartment?" And she's like, "Great." So he knows about that. And then he's like, "So are you taking the boys?" And she's like, "Yes." and then he's like, feels a bunch of remorse. He like puts his head down and it's like starts shaking, and she's like apprehensive about it because she doesn't know what his reaction is going to be. She's expecting him to be angry and like lash out. And so she's like anticipating that, but then she's like, is he laughing? Is he, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then he looks up at her and he's like bawling. And he's like, "I'll change, I promise. I'll take off work. I'll take off 6 months and I'll get help. I got a referral for anxiety." It wasn't even in therapist. It was for another doctor to give him anxiety medication.
Oh, okay.
And it's like,
and then the referral was also from like a year ago.
Yeah, he's like, the referral expired, but I can get another one and get anxiety meds. I'm like, no, bro, I think it's deeper than that. I don't think you're kidding me because of anxiety.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then I think she ends up telling him, like,
she's like,
that Max is like,
yeah, Max is hurting Amabella. Yeah, and they have seen, and they know what's going on. Yeah, it's like they don't know, and that's whenever, like she tells him about Max, and then he's like, "I'll talk to them. I'll talk to him. I'll talk to the boys." And she's like, "What are you going to tell them?"
That it's not okay.
That it's not okay.
Whenever
they see you doing that, and so then he like, shut up. And it's pouring rain right now, and so they're parked and they're waiting to go into the trivia thing, and then there's like,
I didn't think it was. Oh, maybe it was.
Yeah, they're like driving, and then he parked the car and he put his head down and was like, "I promise I'll be better." And so like he's driving and she's there, and then on her window, like someone pulls up with like their face, which I'm pretty sure is Madeline and Ed. Maybe. And then she's like, "Do you need an umbrella?" He's like, and it scares the crap out of Harry. And he's like, "Oh my God." Jesus. Like, okay, well, I guess this conversation is tabled for now. So they go in, which I thought was so funny because it was just like, I can just imagine, "Do you need an umbrella?" And her trying to be all helpful, and then they're like having this like very serious conversation. He gets like, I can just imagine like being horror film because whatever. But yeah, so they all go in, and it was so funny too because they're all like dressed the same, but they all comment about how Perry and Celeste like look like that's how they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. Like they're very like they own the like they're wearing the clothes are not wearing that.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Situation. And then everybody else is over there in like their fake wigs.
And everybody does like the same thing. I think Jane ends up doing a different version of Audrey because it could be like any
version of Audrey.
But like most of the women did Breakfast at Tiffany's with the like black dress and pearls and everything. And so, anyway, the trivia night is like going crazy because apparently it's
like a whole disaster. Yeah. There's a huge wreck because of the rain. The caterers are not there. There's only these pink drinks that are cocktails that everyone just keeps.
And apparently they're made like super strong. Yeah. And so everybody's heavily drinking and has no food.
Yeah.
So and all are feuding with each other. So
great conditions. In addition to that, the MC that's supposed to host the actual trivia night is also stuck in traffic, so there's no trivia. Yeah. It's just cocktails
and all the drama.
So they're all mingling, and the boys all get together. The men, they're like, "Oh, so how do you like that golf course over there?" They talk about golf and the lawn and
dude stuff.
Yeah. And all the women are, their little group are.
Well, it was kind of like a little bit separated in the beginning because Madeline and Bonnie talk, and Bonnie accidentally like spills a drink on Madeline, and like the police interviews are still going through the whole time. They're like, I saw her throw the drink on her, and it was like somebody bumped into her and she like
spilled it.
Yeah, and so
she threw it in her face. I see
it. It was so funny to hear all the parents like
they're different versions of the same event.
Yeah, and how crazy some of them were. And so at one point, I think Celeste and Jane are like, we need to like take a breath or something.
So, hey, do you have a moment?
Yeah.
I can't remember who asked who, but
I want to say it was Celeste because she was like, I'm going to tell her that I found out.
Yeah.
So they like go up to the balcony and Celeste ends up saying like, hey, I just found out that like, I think Max is the one that's Bella. And Jane's like, oh my gosh, like I just found out too. To you about it, and Celeste is like, I'm so sorry, and she's like,
I had no idea.
Yeah. She's like, and then Jane's basically saying the same thing. You didn't know, like if there's anything I can do or whatever. She's super chill about it, and
as honestly they should be because the kids like model their parents' behavior. It's nuts,
and. So they're like having their little chat, and she's just like, I'm so sorry, whatever. And then I think Renata ends up showing up right after that. Is the next one that comes.
Yeah, Renata, and then
so
they tell Renata
what's going on. And then Renata's like, not that it's fine, but she's like,
oh, okay.
Like, because it's Celeste.
Because it's Celeste, and she knows, because they're, like, an established family in the community. And Celeste has, like, more social standing, it almost seems like, you know?
Yeah, but it, like, wasn't as big of a deal, but it was...
Yeah, she's like, I just wanted an apology. She's like, I just wanted my daughter to have an apology. And yes, I probably blew it more out of proportion than I should have, but it was my daughter.
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but like
sounds
psychotic.
Yeah.
And so she tells Jane, "Oh, hey, I owe you and your son." Like she immediately owned up to it.
Yeah, and she did. She apologized to Jane even. So they all acted like normal adults.
Like squashed it. Yeah. Just simple communication would have helped a whole lot of issues.
Yeah. Slowly but surely, all the rest of the group,
the husbands start pouring in.
Yeah, Madeline and everybody's like coming over.
Bonnie's still there, like, hey, I don't even remember what Bonnie kept hammering Madeline about. I want to say it was a play date. What did she want from Madeline?
At the trivia night.
I want to say it was a play date.
But she was there, and whatever. Everybody was there. The whole group was there. And as the men start to show up, he shows up on the balcony, and
Perry?
Yeah.
Perry comes up onto the balcony, and I can't remember what triggered all of this.
I don't remember how it says it went down, but what happened was everybody starts trickling in, and then Perry ends up coming, and he is instantly recognized by Jane.
Oh, Jane. Yeah.
Because
Jane. Okay, go ahead.
So Jane is instantly not freaking out. Freaking out internally, but then it's just
taken aback.
Taken aback, yeah. Because she recognizes Perry, because up until this point she hadn't met Perry. But she recognizes him as the man who hurt her that night. Who said he was
Saxton Meggs.
Yeah. So we find out that he just used his cousin's name, but he was the one who did it. And then I think Celeste just sees it on her face. And I think Jane might have said something like, "You said your name was Saxon," or something that.
Yeah.
And then then instantly the girls,
Madeline and Celeste, both look at Perry
because they know
what happened
Saxon, or whatever. And she's like,
"It was you."
Celeste is
she's
looking at him
what? I can't believe she was also taken aback of it because she thought it was isolated to just her.
Yeah.
The abuse, and also in addition to that, he cheated on her. She was
yeah. So he's a real piece of work. So then he starts freaking out. He's like, it meant nothing. He basically is like, I don't even know her. Which makes it worse.
Yeah. It meant nothing.
You don't even remember the person you assaulted. Yeah. It's crazy. And so he's half trying to apologize to Celeste, half blowing off Jane, but not denying it at all. And then so Celeste is freaking out, and he starts freaking out and ends up hitting her in front of everybody.
Back slapping her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she, I don't want to say falls to the ground, but I think she
I think she did. Yeah. He whacked the crap out of her.
And it was a practiced movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so everybody was
okay. And he was making it not a big deal. And he's like, that wasn't, it was just a reaction. And then Bonnie is like, we all see, we all know who you are. And blah. And then
he
freaked out. She has this.
She's got PTSD.
Yeah. Yeah. And so she's screaming at him. She's the most quiet, namaste person, and everyone's just oh my god, where did this come from? And she shoves Perry.
Yeah, well, because he was saying something about the boys not knowing, and it kind of comes to light that her father was abusive to her father, and so that's why she was we see it, and so she's losing it on her own, because of her own trauma, and so she pushes him.
She pushes him, and he ends up falling off the balcony.
Yeah, he falls over the rail.
He's like, "Oh god, it's wet out here, and I'm 3 pink drinks in."
Yeah.
So he slips and he falls off the balcony in front of all of these witnesses here.
Yeah.
And they're like, call whatever 911 is in Australia. 999?
No. Call an ambulance, I think. Yeah.
What's the number to 911?
Yeah.
Anyway, but they're like, oh, Renata's also still out there with her husband. Oh, we didn't even talk about the Jeff thing.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that. And Renata's like, wait. No. Before you call them, I didn't see anything.
And then all the women are kind of me neither. Right.
I don't know. I
turned around helping Celeste, and then he was gone.
I just came out, and he wasn't here.
And Ed Ed was the only guy out there, I think, besides Perry. And then so he was the only.
Yeah.
And so Ed's like, what are y'all talking about? And he's like, I'm not.
He's like, don't bring me into this. I don't want a felony.
But he's like, absolutely not.
Exactly.
And so the ambulance comes, and then we get to like her and police investigation, like more formal interrogations. At some point, Madeline and Jane like both like slipped kind of during the whole thing. So they were also hurt. So they went to the hospital. Madeline like broke her leg, and I think I think Jane like hurt her wrist or something like that. So
Yeah,
she fell.
She hurt her. She broke her collarbone.
That's what it was.
Yeah, because she couldn't jog anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're like in the hospital. The police are like, we're gonna figure this out. We know somebody like did it. We know they want to talk the truth. And Ed is freaking out because he's supposed to go have his like interrogation. He's like, I don't want to lie for her. This is crazy. We don't.
You don't
like
even
her.
like her. Why are you on board with this? You don't even like her. Blah blah blah. And she's like, well,
she's like,
here's a real piece of crap. Yeah, yeah. And while he's having this conversation with her, Nate ends up showing up to their house, dropping off. What was it? Muffins. He dropped off something. I don't know. It was some kind of food item that Bonnie made. Oh, the lasagna.
The vegetarian.
The vegetarian. This is hilarious. And he's like, I really appreciate, I want to talk about what happened last night. And then this is wherever we find out Bonnie's backstory of like, her father was really abusive to her mother, and she witnessed it, and usually she's fine, but then she'll have like nightmares and wake up like sweating and afraid, and she just had a reaction and from seeing him hit her like that. Yes. And from years of like not sticking up for her mother, she like stuck up for her. Yeah. So he's like, I would really appreciate if you like kept up with the story that we're saying. Yeah. And then he's not really addressing Ed, he's more addressing Madeline. And Madeline's like, we won't say anything. So she's like speaking for Ed. So Ed's like, I already told you that I didn't want to do this, and now you're asking me to lie because of your relationship with your ex-husband. Yeah. And which, I mean, is kind of shitty. But also, come on, get on board. Honestly. Like, he's a bad dude. Like, come on. Yeah. And it's not like... Anyway. Yeah. Well, he also didn't know any of the other backstory stuff. He just like witnessed somebody just die. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, I got kids, this stuff. And yes. So while that conversation's happening, it goes to Celeste and her side, and with Bonnie ends up going over there and also brings a vegetarian lasagna. Yeah, for her too. And he like takes it to her, and then I think one of the maids or her mom or somebody tells Celeste, hey, there's a Bonnie here. She brought food. And so she's like, okay, yeah, I'll go and talk to her. So Bonnie tells Celeste the same thing. Hey, my father was abusive, and I used to hide underneath the blanket, and I couldn't stand up for her. And now after years, whatever. And her and Celeste have like this really beautiful moment where Bonnie's like, it's like, I really appreciate you lying for me, but I'm going to confess, like, you don't have to lie. I'm going to tell the truth. Yeah. And she's like, I can lie. Like, I'm a really good liar. I can, keep the truth. Like, he was, whatever. And she's like, I'm sure you are a really good liar, but you don't have to lie anymore. Yeah. And I think it really hit Celeste in a different perspective, like seeing an adult child that had witnessed abuse in their parents, and like kind of like also this like freedom and release of like not having to lie about an abusive relationship anymore. Yeah. So I thought that was really nice. Yeah. So she ends up confessing. Madeline, Celeste calls Madeline and says Bonnie's going to confess. Don't lie, tell the truth. And then Madeline tells Ed, you can, is calling Ed, hey, before he gets in. Don't lie. She's going to confess. You can tell the truth. I know you're worried about it. Just, you can tell the truth.
Yeah.
She's going to confess. And he's like,
I can't believe you even asked me to do that. It was like, he was gonna do it. Like, we all know he was gonna do it.
Yeah. So
she confesses.
She
gets
confesses.
Community service.
It's 200 hours of community service, which they all said that she ended up loving because that's her personality.
Yeah, so it was fine.
It was fine. She did that. She paid some fines, which I think Celeste ended up paying for her. Don't quote me on that, but I thought that's what it was.
Yeah.
I could be imagining.
Also, just throwing this random tidbit in there, during the balcony scene, it was also revealed, Madeline knew that the guy who wrote the letter to Abigail, whatever the name was, it tipped Madeline off that it was actually Celeste, because she had told Celeste about what was going on. She was freaking out, and so Celeste wrote that letter. Celeste is the one who donated the $100,000. And so that also came out in front of Perry, and that was part of.
Oh yeah, Perry was also made this snide comment of oh yeah, she's being really philanthropic.
Yeah,
there we go.
When you get there. So yeah, that was part of it. So yeah, she paid for everything. She was glad.
Yeah, that was great.
But yeah, and then they all kind of just
kept on going on. Yeah,
Jane stayed, ended up staying in town. Celeste, I don't know if she ended up going to that apartment.
She did. She ended up selling the house.
I think she sold the house, but I think she ended up staying at that apartment. So they all are kind of going back to normal, and
they do a few months later, and then they do a year later, and the 3 month later mark, or I don't remember whenever this was revealed, the little side thing about Miss Renata and Jeff.
Oh yeah,
because she's all about the French stuff and the French nanny. So apparently the nanny's getting around all the dads, and had an affair with Renata's husband, Jeff.
Yeah.
And then she was also trying to have an affair with another one of the dads. She had slept with 2 of the dads and was trying to go for another one.
Yeah.
Which I thought was Ed. And then Ed was like, what the? And so he told Madeline. Madeline was like, I'm going to blab her mouth.
Yeah.
So it got around very quickly that
kind of came out a little bit that night too, the trivia night as well. So I think that was part of Renata's. She was losing control of everything in her life, and so that was probably part of her overreaction with the kids and everything as well. But it was, but they all ended up friends, and
until the next thing. I'm just
personality. I was wait, what?
No, nothing.
You were saying until
until someone kicks sand in somebody's snack, and then it turns into another thing.
Yeah.
And then also the year later mark.
Oh sure.
The year later mark, Celeste ends up going speakers, an announcement, what is it?
It was a public speaking for her therapist was doing a talk, and so she had asked some clients to if they would come and speak on abuse, and she was one of them.
And she said it could happen to anybody.
And she it was also even another funny moment too, because she was sitting next to this guy, and she was oh, he's probably I forgot what she said. He's probably another doctor, another therapist or something. He was real nervous to speak, and she was noticing him. And then whenever the therapist announces that she had speakers, and she was they were both abused, and she was what? And then she realized that guy also been in an abusive relationship, and she was it can happen to anybody, happened to him, I would have never thought that. Like,
Mhm.
people didn't think that about me because, like, I
Mhm.
lived this
Right.
great life. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, she has that. And then I think the only other thing was Jane and Tom started
ended up dating.
Yeah.
And then Celeste ended up with, of course, all of the inheritance from her husband and stuff, and then put two.
Oh yeah.
She ended up making trust funds, and then has been determined to like really parent her kids into like what is being active and like how to treat women, and not just women, but like being upstanding citizens.
Yeah.
But she also, because she did know that Harry ended up doing that, Jane, that she also made an equal third trust fund for Ziggy.
Yeah, because she was like, he was his son also, and she did even say that Harry would have wanted that, anyway, which is like crazy.
Yeah, I really like how that was written into like her inner monologue, because she kept going back like, yes, this was Perry, but this was also Perry. Like,
yeah,
Perry would
and like
if she had to pay something
that,
for
like so many people
oversee.
Yeah,
they only see one version,
and they're like, I could never stay in that. Like, how could you do that? But it's like that you don't live all the rest of the life here.
Yeah,
what that's like, because you love the person. Because he also wasn't even like that till after the boys were born.
Yeah,
and they had like fertility issues.
Yeah,
which they kind of touched on.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that I'm sure we missed some things, but it was overall, it was a lot going on in this book.
Yeah,
a lot of moms, a lot of talking, a lot of
things,
pettiness, cattiness. It was juicy for sure. Yeah, it was interesting. Ending thoughts. Would you recommend this book to others?
Yes. Mystery. I did like that we knew. You knew something happened like the whole time because the interviews, but you didn't know like what.
It was hinted. It wasn't even like it was like flashes. It wasn't even.
At one point, they said like something like, "Are we really calling this murder?" So like you know somebody died, but you don't know who. You don't know who did the killing or if it was a killing. And all these stories are like unfolding together.
Yeah,
I feel like it was a really good mystery, but not too hard to follow.
Yeah. It really went well with the timeline.
I mean, I would recommend it to anybody who wanted a good little like mystery drama type situation.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it was very juicy. I like the pettiness between the moms.
Yeah.
I like how it had very diverse moms, different kinds of moms. It was good. I like that it was unfolding a mystery. I liked all of it. It was interesting. What do you think of the writing style?
Again, I liked it. Sometimes multiple POV / flashbacks. Done really not great. And I felt like this was good. It kind of kept you in the moment of like the present because the murder had already happened, but without like it wasn't so crazy that you're like back and forth and trying to be like, wait, was that then? Was this now? Like who's talking? Whatever. It was just enough to like remind you that you're still like in the past.
You're leading up to
and it was like kind of sometimes they were like comic relief too, because obviously these were some pretty heavy topics that got talked about that were a little bit graphic. But so I felt like the writing style. I liked it. I liked the dialogue a lot, the way it was written. The characters were their own, fully their own.
Yeah, I would agree to that. Yes, there's a lot of POVs and there's some back and forth, but the moms were so different that it wasn't hard to follow which POV you're currently in. Not only that, but the lifestyle each mom had was very diverse.
Yeah.
So it wasn't hard to identify which POV you were in. I like that you're leading up to an event and the event is unfolding while you're leading up to it. So for example, like whenever they're doing the interviews, they're talking about the same timeline. It's going in the same.
Yeah.
So you're not going like this and that.
Back and forth.
It's more like it's all coming together and you're getting the information as it came, you know. So
yeah.
I did like that. I think the story engagement though was very good with this. Because there was all
who it was on either side. Like we didn't know who was murdered or who did it. Because I feel like sometimes with thrillers, like you find out in the beginning, it's like, oh, there was this murder of so and so, and so then you're looking for every little thing like related, like
picking apart
like that. But with it being so open, like you just knew it was a murder. You had to like no other thing.
Yeah.
So figuring out like who killed who was really funny.
Yeah,
I thought so.
Yeah, it gave no indication if it was a male or female. It gave no indication.
Yeah.
Like, you just know it happened at trivia night, and you didn't know about it being a trivia night until you're like a quarter or a third into the book.
Yeah.
So, the story engagement I really liked, even between, like, the pettiness between the moms and, like, you know, the Disney on Ice, the birthday party, the petition, all of this.
There was other stuff too that we didn't even touch on the situation. There's one I was just thinking. There was a bunch of other stuff like in between, obviously like smaller stories. Just fueled the fire.
It was funny. Overall ratings.
I gave it 4. I thought it was really good. I liked it a lot.
I liked it a lot too. I gave it a 4.
Yeah.
I gave it a 4. I thought it was really funny. I thought it was different. The only thing I didn't like about it was that she ended up confessing. And I think her sentence was like, I think we said like 200 community service hours and she was on probation.
Yeah.
And like whatever. Because there was like other factors, like it was wet, the balcony was lower than it was supposed to be, the chairs were too high for them to be out there, they were drinking.
Yeah,
you know, like
there was
a lot of factors.
She did confess to like pushing him, but basically like there was way too many factors that it wasn't like she knew that he would stop. That wasn't her intention.
She just pushed him, thinking like, you know, get back.
Yeah.
Not like fall to your death.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it was good. I thought that was, you know, it would have been nice if he just fell.
It would have been interesting.
Also really annoyed by Ed, like, get on board, Ed.
Honestly.
Support. But yeah, I thought it was a 4. I thought it was good. Juicy. So that puts a wrap on that one. Yes. Next week we have the TBR jar.
We are gonna be reading The Heiress.
Mm-hmm. That one, yeah, that one's been on my TBR. It's also supposed to be juicy about a family. The drama. Very fitting for November. Anyway, now's your chance to grab a copy of The Heiress and meet us here next Sunday. We'll have thoughts.